Have you ever wondered what it really means to love your neighbor? Today we're diving deep into one of Jesus's most powerful teachings, loving others as ourselves. Through his timeless parables, Jesus reveals practical ways we can show compassion, kindness, and mercy in our everyday lives. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll discover not just inspiration, but action steps to truly live out love in your community. 1. The parables of Jesus. Jesus often used parables, short, vivid stories with profound lessons, to teach his followers. Among them, the parables about love and compassion stand out, especially when it comes to how we treat our neighbors. Let's explore 3 of these parables and uncover what they teach us about loving others. 2. The parable of the Good Samaritan, Luke 10:25-37. The first story is perhaps the most famous, the parable of the Good Samaritan. Jesus tells of a man who was traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers, left beaten and half dead on the roadside. Several people passed by without helping, including religious leaders who, by society's standards, should have shown care. But then, a Samaritan, a person considered an outsider and often despised by the Jews, stopped. He tended to the man's wounds, carried him to an inn, and even paid for his care. Jesus concluded the story by asking, "Which of these 3 was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers?" The answer is clear: the one who showed mercy. This parable teaches us that loving our neighbor isn't about proximity, social status, or shared beliefs. It's about action. True love shows itself in how we respond to the needs of others, especially those society overlooks. 3. The parable of the lost sheep, Luke 15:3-7. Next is the parable of the lost sheep. Imagine a shepherd with 100 sheep, but one wanders away. The shepherd doesn't just stay with the 99, he goes out to search tirelessly for the one lost sheep. Jesus tells this story to illustrate God's relentless love for every individual. But there's a practical lesson for us. Loving our neighbor means noticing those who are overlooked or left behind. It's about extending care and attention, even when it requires extra effort. In today's world, this could mean reaching out to a lonely friend, supporting a struggling coworker, or standing by someone facing injustice. Just like the shepherd rejoices when he finds the lost sheep, acts of love bring joy, healing, and restoration to both the giver and the receiver. 4. The parable of the Unforgiving Servant, Matthew 18:21-35. Finally, let's consider the parable of the unforgiving servant. A king forgives a servant a massive debt, something the servant could never repay. Yet that same servant refuses to forgive a fellow servant a small debt. Jesus uses this story to teach that loving our neighbor includes forgiveness. Holding grudges, nurturing resentment, or refusing to reconcile with others blocks the flow of God's love. True neighborly love requires humility and mercy. When we forgive, we mirror God's grace, heal relationships, and create a community rooted in love rather than conflict. This is one of the most practical ways to live out Jesus' teaching today. 5. Practical steps to love your neighbor, like Jesus. So how do we put these lessons into practice? Here are some simple yet powerful ways to love your neighbor today. 1. Be present. Notice people around you who may need help, encouragement, or a listening ear. 2. Show mercy and compassion. Go beyond what's expected. Small acts of kindness can make a huge difference. 3. Forgive quickly. Don't let grudges build. Forgiveness heals hearts. 4. Extend love across boundaries. Your neighbor isn't just someone like you, it's anyone in need, regardless of background or beliefs. 5. Serve without expecting return. Genuine love isn't transactional, it's selfless. Why this matters? Loving your neighbor transforms lives. It builds stronger communities, fosters empathy, and reflects the heart of Jesus. By embracing the lessons in these parables, we not only follow God's command, but also experience the joy and fulfillment that comes from selfless love. Remember, it's the small, consistent acts of love that create a ripple effect far beyond what we can see. Today, commit to one act of neighborly love. Reach out, forgive, or serve someone in need. You may never know how profoundly your actions can impact another life. Jesus' parables aren't just stories, they are blueprints for a life of love. Let's take his teachings to heart and make the world a brighter place, one neighbor at a time. If this video inspired you, give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more teachings that guide us to live like Jesus every day. Together, let's love boldly, forgive freely, and serve selflessly.